Humans, just like many other animals, are great at identifying short-term problems and threats, and are great at avoiding them. At the same time, we have the ability to think about the future and how it will impact us, but that ability is very weak. We have the ability to think long-term, but we need to train it. Long-term thinking is especially important if you want to improve your personal finances or make a business that lasts long-term, or even be happier. In this video, I will cover the benefits of long-term thinking and how to train your brain to think long-term, and we are starting right now. First, we have to understand how we normally think. We can look at how most people think of their jobs to see that. Most people look at their jobs most of the time in terms of getting through it to enjoy the weekend. We do have occasional long-term thoughts about our job and where we're headed in life, but those thoughts are pretty minor and are usually drowned out by the short term. That is how most of us think in most aspects of our life, like our finances, health, and time. This way of thinking causes a lot of problems, such as losing money and not being productive. If you can switch over to think long-term, you are able to be more focused on your goals, help yourself overcome short-term setbacks, and be happier overall. For goals, it gives you a clear direction to go, and you can set small milestones on the way to stay focused. If you only thought about goals short-term, you will be constantly asking yourself, so what's next? For overcoming setbacks, when you think long-term, you're able to see it as a minor process that is part of a greater plan unfolding. You are able to prevent the obstacle from consuming you and stopping your progress. As for happiness, you're able to be more happy overall because you won't have to constantly be thinking about what's next. So how can we think long-term? Well, long-term thinking is just like a muscle. If you use it more, it becomes more natural and you can rely on it more. It isn't a switch where you can flip it and you're suddenly creating a 10-year plan. You have to train your brain to think long-term, and then gradually you can become a long-term thinker. To train your brain, do this simple activity every month or two. The activity is to make a detailed picture of your life at some point in the future. Where do you want to be in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? It's a simple question, and one we daydream about sometimes, but the difference here is you have to write down the details and it has to be realistic. You first start with a time frame. Choose either 5, 10, or 20 years. You then go through each area of life and figure out what things will look like. For health, think about how healthy you are and what your health goals for the future are. For intellect, think about what skills you want to learn in the future. For spiritual, think about what your purpose is and try defining it. For relationships, think about your friends and family and how you can strengthen those relationships in the future. For professional, think about what you want to accomplish in the future. For financial, think about if you're financially secure and what you can do to be financially free. Those are the 6 main areas you want to think about, and you can add more areas if you want to. Come up with a concrete answer of where you want your life to be for each area at the point of time you're thinking about. Make sure those answers are positive and realistic. From there, start making plans for the near future. What do you need to do to make that future happen? This method's a lot better than having negative answers, because if you put down negative answers, you'll be thinking about what you need to do to make sure this outcome doesn't happen, which is not pleasant. As a bonus, if you want to train your brain to think long-term even more, spend time self-reflecting. When you self-reflect, you normally think about what happened during the day, but in this case, you also want to think about the future. What do you want to happen in the future? How can you make it happen? Self-reflecting shouldn't take too long, and it is something you can do every day. Do you think long-term? Leave a comment below and check out my other videos if you enjoyed this video and want more.